Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Sunday Gen 4 Super Speedway Series here on Green, White, Checkered TV. We've got 100 laps in store for you tonight here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Drivers are finishing up the qualifying session here, and we will be getting ready to introduce them to you and show you who will be in the field and in what order as we get going here for tonight. So for myself tonight, Boomer Logan, we've got my buddy Brandon Briggs alongside us here. Brandon, how you doing tonight, and what you looking forward to?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good. Great to have you back. Boom. And man, I'm excited for tonight. We got so many stories between guys on the bubble and guys not being here for a couple races and where they sit in points. So I'm excited. I'm ready to get this night going.
Should be a lot of fun. And you mentioned points there. No graphic for you this week, but we can at least talk through what the points situation looks like. Charles Johnson, after 7 races, is your point leader with 203. He's got 6 top 5s on the season and 1 win in his 6 starts, and that is a big difference maker for him in the points. Jack Walls moved up 3 spots last week. He's at 197 there in second place. Nicholas Wing up 4 spots last week as well. He's got 193. Bud Steele falls 2 spots to 4th place with 190 points to his name. Carl Engel in the top 5 there gained 5 spots last week, and he's up to 188 points, actually tied with Dean Wilkinson just behind him. And Dean's got 188 as well in 6th. We've got a tie for 7th between Ryan Decker and Tom Dixon at 175 points. Gabe Butler there with 172, and then Justin Davis has 168 in the top 10. Ambrose Kniebel and Bob Fitzgerald inside the top 12 for now, 164, 154 respectively for those drivers, and that should be the cutoff for now for those playoffs as we get ready to ramp up into those. We've got this week and the following week before we get to those playoff races. And I guess, Brandon, question for you would be that I'm thinking is what is your kind of mindset as you get into these final 2 races of the season? Is there anything unique you need to be doing? Is there anything different? Is there what's the strategy or the game plan for coming into coming into these final races and getting ready for that that playoff battle?
Yeah, it really depends on where you set. You know, if you're one of those outside guys looking in, you understand that you really got to push it these next 2 weeks and get up on it. And then as the other guys up front, you don't want to be too conservative. We've heard a bunch of times when you get conservative, that's when mistakes happen. So look for those front guys just to be just as aggressive.
Absolutely, they are going to be having a lot of fun here up at the front. And while you see a couple cars taken to the grid, why don't we bring that up for you here and show you who's going to start where tonight. Ray Rittenauer is going to be in that number 87 machine on the inside of row number 1 on the pole there. Gabe Butler, you saw his car to his outside as he takes to the grid for tonight's activities. Kevin Hash in the 03 starting in 3rd. Dean Wilkinson for TWD Motorsports to his outside in the 55. Todd Merkel there in 5th place for 1320 Racing Enterprises, and Dude Conrad of Team Bootnaka Esports in that number 8, starting 6th. Everett Lane and Ryan Decker are going to start side by side, the 24 and the 48. Tom Dixon in the 411 inside of row number 5, and Patrick Groover rounding out your top 10 starting positions for tonight. Bud Steele and Eric Laurie side by side on row number 6.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
We got Gary Huffins. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Huffins in the 13th place, number 19. Dale Rapp to his outside in the 52. Joshua Highbaugh in the 101 from my home state of Michigan. Love to see that. Jacob Lee's going to be to his outside. They're going to share row number 8. Nick Wing in the 28 there is going to be inside of row number 9 with Jack Walls. His outside 2 teammates lined up side by side there. We've got Mike Allen in the 13 inside of Anthony Lane from Indiana, and then Robert Amaral in the number 77 alongside Seth Groover. We got James Moen and Jim Brooks sharing row number 12, and that will be the end of the grid for tonight. So we are taking to the pace lap here. We'll be in just a moment as we get things sorted out and get ready. And it looks like a couple cars did not actually take to the grid, so we see it looks like Ray Rittenauer and Kevin Hash might be, yep, they'll be starting from pit lane, so they will be in the race. They just will lose their starting spot, so that's going to actually promote the two of Todd Merkel to the pole, and he will start. He will be, actually, I'm not sure. He may be the control car as he takes over the first spot, but it may go to Gabe Butler. Either or, that front row is going to be starting that race for you here tonight, and will be underway in just a moment, Brandon.
Yeah, unfortunate break for those guys, maybe take the seat, but we're tightened up, we're ready to go, and the 2 and the 88 is going to bring them here to the green flag with 2 races left to go. We're green at Atlanta.
Green flag in the air, side by side down into turn number 1 they go.
Yeah, we're seeing that 03 there. We're seeing it starting to up speed. Those guys are definitely really going to have to get on it here. It looks like he might catch a break here, and these guys just going to be able to maybe just fall right in here and not lose anything at all. Going to be tight as you know how slippery that apron can be, and they're driving by everybody. They're really going to have to get up and get going.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay there. The interesting thing, we're showing a few more laps than I would expect on the ticker here. So we're showing lap 4 already. It should be lap number 2, so we'll see if we can understand that here. But we are green flag. 88 of Gabe Butler is being pushed by the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. Teammate 2 spots back there in Dude Conrad. On the inside, it's Todd Merkel. And we've got third place in the inside lane right now. Looks like it's Tom Dixon there, as we are still side by side, 3 rows deep, and it looks like now the timing has sorted itself out, and we are on lap number 3, so that should be correct.
Yeah, Boom, a good story here to watch tonight is Patrick missed a couple races. He was 3rd in points, a couple races ago, missed some races. Unfortunately, he's sitting right on the bubble. Our point leader started dead last today, choosing not to take a time. So a couple of teammates there to keep our eye on. And one guy's comfortable, and one guy really needs to get up there and make up some points as we see the 88 comfortably take over the lead.
Yeah, he's going to try and control this race now from the bottom after starting outside pole. And have a good push from 55 of Dean Wilkinson to get up there and ahead of Todd Merkel as they come around turns 3 and 4. Organized so far. Good 2 wide battles throughout this field. A little moment there in the outside wall, potentially the outside lane. Not sure. I have to check who's in the Wrangler car. Or it's 19 of Gary Huffman. So he got in the wall off of turn 4 there in a little bit in that Bass Pro Shops and Tractor Boats number 19. Good looking paint scheme there.
Yeah, Boom, I know you normally broadcast with us on Thursdays, but here on Sunday, appreciate you helping out here. And what we've seen a lot with these cars all year long is the tires really start to come in effect. And even with what we've seen on Thursday, you know, as the runs go on, them brights start to wear and guys start to slide up and catch that outside wall. And hopefully not yet. That 6 laps in, the tires are really taking that effect, but expect that big slide here with these Gen 4 cars. The right sides don't take long for that grip to start to fade, and especially at a track like this where you're using more of the wheels we do at a natural speedway like Daytona or Talladega.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we've seen that tire wear happen quite a bit more here at Atlanta than we have in the past or any of the other super speedway style tracks that we run here, but it's definitely unique, and we've seen where 4 tires makes a big difference. Obviously, the guys that we talked to on Thursday night, some of the interviews we did in the top 3, they all were talking about you know, how it was important to take tires, and most people did not take tires at the end of that race, and there was, even though it was a shorter field, there was definitely a lot of handling issues in those trucks, and we all know these Gen 4 Cup cars can be a handful sometimes, and they're a lot of fun to drive for sure.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to hop in the trucks on Thursday, and we talk about so much up here as we see the 8 start to push up there just a little bit, how these builds, and if you don't run these trucks or cars regularly, how hard it really is. And I got in that truck on Thursday, and man, it was such a handful just not being in it for so long and coming to Atlanta where the track's already a little bit slick, and man, it was such a handful. So I can only imagine what these drivers are going through as the sun's sitting here baking on the track, making it hotter and hotter as we go. And the longer we run, the track's going to warm up some more, and these drivers are definitely going to have their hands full.
Yeah, it looks like a few of them got their hands full further on back. We're too wide, at least 10 cars deep, so about 5 rows. But looks like we've got a couple cars towards the back of this pack here, and then we see Ray Rittenauer and Kevin Hash here. A couple seconds off the pace. They were not able to hold on to that draft. And then Robert Amaral has come back here with them as well. Not entirely sure what his story here is here, but we do see him a little bit off the pace and trying to catch up to the back of Kevin Hash, which might actually be a tall order for this 77, which would be tough. 10 laps in to be off the pace and out of the pack is not a fun way to start your night.
No, it's definitely not. But the one great spot and the bright spot to look at is this is super speedway racing, and anything can happen at any time. So keep your foot on the gas, and you never know when that caution will come or cars start to get loose, and next thing you know, we got the big one. So the 77 having a rough start, but not necessarily meaning that's how it's going to end.
Yeah, there's plenty of time left. I don't think there's anything to panic. It's just one of those things where you really got to stay focused and realize, hey, you know what? This kind of sucks to start this race, but there's still a lot of race left, and obviously the good drivers are able to kind of compartmentalize that or put that aside for a moment and say, okay, yep, I know that this is not the end-all be-all. There's a lot of time left, and I just need to focus, put my head down, and do what I can. And when you get caught by the back of the pack, just settle in line and be ready for your opportunity to maybe get back on the lead lap and go from there. Or, who knows, could get a lucky break from a yellow, but we do know he's running a little bit slower than the pack. As actually, that last time by, it looks like Ray Rittenauer and Kevin Hash are running some pretty good lap times. Robert Amaral, they're actually catching the pack a little bit. Not entirely sure, but yeah, they were 0.4 of a second faster that last time by, and I guess we'll see what the lap times update this time by. Let's see if we can understand what that was. It was a 31 flat about for Gabe Butler, and then yeah, Ray Rittenauer and Kevin Hash are running 30.53s together, and then Robert Amaral is running 30.50s almost by himself, probably starting to sniff the back of the draft of the 03, but I think that tells us, Brandon, that some of our leaders might be trying to save some fuel.
Yeah, that or these guys we've really seen throughout the season, not only here but on the Thursday. I know he's a little bit farther back, but these guys can really just stay flat out because they don't have the checkups or the things that these guys have in these big packs that you see up here. Yeah, they're still spread out, but they still got to keep on checking up, and then makes that snake effect. And hopefully that's what it is.
Yeah, and you can see. I'm kind of curious with Kevin Hash and Robert Amaral. Looks like they were able to stay on the lead lap there. I guess I would have expected them to be a lap down if they started from the pits typically. Because they caught the pack as they were coming back around, I think, after lap 1. So maybe still some issues, not entirely sure with timing and scoring, but nonetheless, good for them that they're catching them fast. And the 88 of Gabe Butler, pretty quiet at the front here. Gabe Butler got down in front of Todd, and the top 10's almost been the same since then, so it's not changed too much. There's not a lot of urgency. These guys are just kind of riding around and doing what they can. And too wide action to start this entire race, all the way through the top 10 so far.
Yeah, and it's going to get interesting. The 32 and the 54, they've met up and they've made their way to the front. So sometimes that means the third lane might be getting ready to kick up, or as we see just a couple of these guys starting to really move forward, as we talked earlier, that a couple of these guys really need a good finish here. It's starting to get very tight there. That's them tires starting to wear down, and guys really starting to push it.
Yeah, a little bit of a checkup there for the 19 of Gary Huffins, and I don't think no harm, no foul. Looks like obviously just product of, like you said, that tire wear, because it really will make a difference. And it's funny, you almost need to start driving the car like you would at, the previous repave of Atlanta. From moment there for the 1411 getting down, but yeah, I mean, it's, if you can, 19's actually up in the wall here further on back, and no caution. We're gonna keep rolling, but he makes a little bit of contact with the wall, and he is a little slow, and he's gonna go straight down to pit road now.
Yeah, I think that's a real smart move there by the 19. We know pit stops are probably right around the corner. They've been about 20 laps with these cars, maybe a little bit longer, 22 laps. So right there, you made a mistake. Come down, get the problem fixed immediately, and go ahead and knock your pit stop out and get back to it as we still see the 88 still chugging along, keeping the pack going.
Yeah, that's a heads-up play for sure for the 19. Obviously, fortunate to get into the wall, but to be smart enough to say, hey, you know what? I'm already lost a lot of momentum. I got to check up for turn 3 to enter pit lane here at Atlanta. I might as well just go down pit road now and try to minimize as much of the damage as you can. So heads-up play by him after the contact with the wall, and we'll see where that nets him out once we get to the rest of the green flag pit cycle, as most drivers are wide there for a second almost. Nope, 32 stays behind the 55. But these guys will be trying to find their way to the bottom in a moment as they get ready to probably make pit stops here in the next couple laps.
Yeah, and what's really, you really got to understand is, like, the 19, sometimes when you get in that dirty air in these cars and that air hits you, it's really hard to turn. It starts to, as the racing term is, plow, because you're turning the wheel, but it's still going the opposite way. So, and then when you wear the tires down, it just gets even worse. So, you really got to make that into factors. The guys on the bottom are going to be going through the same thing as they're turning harder than the guys on the outside. So, really, really got to be locked in here.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is kind of the fun part for me, where you get to, obviously it's still mostly like a super speedway race, but you kind of do have to manage that tire wear, and you do get to manage that throttle just a little bit. And like I said previously, it was 54 potentially. Might have touched the wall just a little bit back there, but as you enter the corner there, you're going to lift a little bit and get back on the gas. And the more that you can back that corner up and lift early on entry, you can throttle up pretty quickly through the entrance of the corner, and then through, obviously, the middle of the corner, and then just carry a lot of speed down the straightaways, and that makes a huge difference here, even if you have to lift a little bit. One of the biggest things, I guess, one of the biggest things that I like, but also would love to see different about iRacing, is just that, this is a perfect scan of what was a very smooth, very brand new, asphalt surface when they repaved this track. I'd love to see if there'd be a way to actually either, maybe if they have to just update it and rescan it, but just to go back and try and capture the surface wear over time that happens on these tracks, because obviously you can see in the real world, Brandon, these cars can't quite go full throttle like they used to all the way around, and they're starting to have to lift earlier and earlier in the real world. But obviously what we have in the sim is, a perfect rendition of what it was when it was repaved back in 2022.
Yeah, and that's what gives the track a little bit of character, the bumps and the things that you got to learn, and yeah, that would be an awesome feature to really have, because different tracks in different areas, the weather and the wear and what it does after it takes a little bit of a beating, as you would say, at a couple races and things like that. So that would be an amazing feature, because it would just make our drivers stay on their toes even more, and it would create, I think, some pretty interesting racing for some guys that may not race every week, or maybe not been here from that scan or something like that. So that would be a pretty cool feature, I think, if they added.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously there's a lot of capability to iRacing, and for what boils down to a video game. I know some people like to use the term simulation instead, but what really boils down to an online multiplayer game, there's quite a bit of development and data and research that goes into this, and obviously it's probably the closest thing that you can get to racing without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on cars and seat time and all that kind of stuff. So obviously you don't get the seat of the pants feeling, but there's still a lot of stuff that translates. And I will say it's a lot of fun to be a part of this, and obviously I run a couple of my own leagues, and it's fun to do this stuff, you know, as a semi-professional race car driver, you know.
Yeah, and it does a lot of. I mean, you. One of the things you hear most about with common drivers today is, "Hey, I spent this much time in the rig today," and it's like, why they're using iRacing? They're not using anything special. They're just using this. They're just spending a crap load of time in it, and if it didn't work, they wouldn't be using it. So. For these guys like our drivers here, you know, they got to stay just as locked in to be as good as they are. You know, we've seen some guys be around in this league for, you know, 400 plus races, and that's a commitment. A lot of people don't understand what type of commitment it is when you get into this, and you want to be good. It's not just hopping on a video game and just going out there be dominant like you see on a lot of maybe console games or stuff like that. This, you have to spend a lot of time. The hardest part is something that you're not even really driving or racing. Your pit stops, you know, just nailing the pit stops. So it's you can just use the comparison, as we got somebody here
Yeah.
maybe off in the grass.
Yeah, off in the grass, and looks like has taken the tow back to pit road. That's Anthony Lane. Thankfully, he didn't trigger a caution, so we stay green flag on lap number 31 here. The 88 of Gabe Butler continues to lead this field, and you know, obviously, we're talking about a lot of stuff other than the racing, because it's just been kind of quiet so far. Really almost through the first third of this one, and Gabe Butler's still leading. The two of Todd Merkel's still pushing him, and there's a little bit of a jumble as far as who's in what lane, as now the 55 is going to come down to the bottom, and the 101 is going to join there in fourth place, but Gabe's still leading there. Todd Merkel started from, you know, I guess the pseudo pole, if you'd call it that, whatever you want to call it, with the, what was it, who actually had the pole, but anyway, yeah, Ray Rittenauer. So Ray Rittenauer started from the pits, so Todd Merkel started from that front row, and then we've got Dean Wilkinson starting in fourth. Joshua Highbaugh is probably our second highest climber right now. He's up 11 spots there in fourth place. Seth Groover's up 17 after electing to not qualify for tonight. Ryan Decker is in sixth place after starting eighth. Bud Steele is in the top 10 after starting 11th. Patrick Groover there is back in 8th at the moment. Everett Lane there, he's down 2 spots, but he's still in the top 10. And then Mike Allen in that good wrench, very iconic paint scheme. He's going to be your last car in the top 10 as he swaps spots with Everett Lane here. So Eric Laurie, Nick Wing, Ray Rittenauer. Ray's actually gotten back up to 13th. So no harm, no foul. Good recovery for him so far. He's tucked in just in front of Jacob Lee, and ahead of Kevin Hash, who also started from the pits. So thankfully for those guys, able to get up into the pack and not have to go a lap down, and you know, no harm, no foul for missing that grid. So yeah, that's your top 15 at the moment, and we're going stretching a few more laps of field than we thought. So I think it's going to be down to probably a 2-stop strategy, and we'll see how much farther these guys can actually go on fuel. And the biggest thing, obviously, we're going to be paying attention to, especially for green flag pit stops, is what kind of tires are you taking? Are you taking 4? Obviously, it's going to take a lot more time, but are you taking 4? Are you taking 2 maybe? Usually, if you got to fill the whole thing with gas, you can afford to take right side tires without actually adding any time to your pit stop. And as we talk about it, there's a couple guys coming down right now in turn 3, the entry for pit road. So they'll come around the apron and get ready to get their service. Oh, a little bit of a moment there for the 87.
Yeah, the 87's definitely going to have to stay out. That's going to be a penalty if he comes. Good choice there by the 87. If he would have came there, that would have been a penalty. Oh, we got some checkups, hard checkups as they enter pit road.
Yeah, missed who that was. I don't see anybody around, which is good. But there was definitely a couple checkups there as we got into pit road. So Gabe Butler's going to lead them down, and about 10 cars or so on pit road now, and about 10 cars still out on track. So that's Todd Merkel and Patrick Groover. There's a little bit of a gap now back to Nick Wing, Jacob Lee. Dale Rapp as Joshua Highbaugh is going to come in this time with Seth Groover and Mike Allen. And then I think, yep, Kevin Hash. So this is a 4-pack coming down now. And Todd?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, no, I was just saying with these guys, as you see them, they're coming here. They don't have to beat a pit road speed right there. For new watchers, they do not have. They can be going as fast as they want right here. They got to be slowed down to pit road speed at that commitment cone, and that's what we really see guys hustling right here. And then that's when you see them big checkups as they got to get woed down to 55 mile an hour.
Yeah, you see, obviously the 54 makes the pass in the apron. That is a legal move because, as you mentioned, that's a great point, Brandon. The pit road speed does not count until you get to the entrance of pit road where the yellow cone typically resides. So even though you're required to enter on the back straightaway, you do not actually have to be at pit road speed on the apron here. So we'll see Nick Wing, Jacob Lee, Ray Rittenauer will be the last to put their pit signs out and get service to those Gen 4 machines as they're coming down. Ooh, bit of a moment there, the 28 and the 21, little contact on pit road, but looks like no harm, no foul. So we'll pick up Gabe Butler, who technically just unlapped himself from our leader, Nick Wing. He's by himself, kind of on an island, as almost everybody around him decided to take 4 tires. I see him at about 10.5 seconds, which typically means probably fuel and maybe potentially right side tires. And then Ryan Decker, Dean Wilkinson, and pretty much everybody behind that is in the 14 to 15 second range, and that would suggest that they took 4 tires. So where we see Gabe's going to actually, he's going to stack out, he's going to come out as the leader without any drafting help, but we do see some of the pack starting to form just behind him, so he's going to be swallowed up by this group in just a moment. The 48 and the 55 are connected there, and that is, I mean, that shows you how big of a difference that 4 seconds is, Brandon, in track position.
Yeah, and that's how you beat somebody like the 88. You know, those guys, they took 4, he took none. You know, that we've seen tires start to wear off. We start to ask, you know, every week, you know, questions. How do you beat these guys that are really, really good at super speedway racing? This is it. It's just out strategizing them and having your team on the same thing as we see, you know, the 48 and these guys. Gabe came out by himself. You know, that's not where you want to be at super speedway is by yourself. So the 88 and those guys may be hoping next time, you know, we've seen them jump out, get off pit road really, really good. They execute pit road tremendously. So maybe on that next round, it's going to be something to watch if they're more grouped together there.
Yeah, indeed, and would be interesting to see if anybody could have come down with Gabe to take 2 tires as well, but everybody who pit on the same lap as him pretty much exclusively took, everyone who pitted on that same lap took 4 tires other than him. So would be nice to know the difference and see if the 88 could have hung out there with a couple extra cars, but that definitely puts him at a little bit of a disadvantage. Obviously coming up by himself without any drafting help kind of eliminates all the strategy of him, you know, electing not to take. We know that he didn't take 4 tires. It's possible that he could have taken 2, but with the time there, usually, like you mentioned already, usually you can take 2 tires if you need to fill it almost all the way with fuel without wasting any time or you know, causing it to, you have to wait on fuel anyway, so you might as well get 2 tires if you can. But that puts us with about 6 cars in this lead pack here. Patrick Groover and Seth Groover are going to be joining there momentarily. They are working together, and you'll have to go about 3.5 seconds back to get to the second pack. Right now it's being led by Jack Walls, Todd Merkel, Joshua Highball, Kevin Hash, Dude Conrad, Jim Brooks, James Moen are in this group. Nick Wing, Jacob Lee, Dale Rapp as well, and that gets you all the way back to 18th. Mike Allen is just off of the back of this, but he is gaining on them, so he will be up to 19th, will be in that second pack. And we see Ray Rittenauer is about 7 seconds off the pace, and he potentially, not sure if he had an issue on his in-lap or out-lap, but he is obviously has no drafting help. Neither does Tom Dixon, who's about 2.5 seconds behind Ray, and then Gary Huffins is 1 lap down at the moment, and he is in that lead pack, which is actually being led by Ryan Decker now. And, you know, that's a great opportunity. We're still green flag. Why don't we here do a little quick side-by-side from our sponsor, Sensi.
At Sensi, we love fragrance, how it makes us feel, how it connects us to our deepest memories, how sharing those memories connects us with each other.
And as it turns out, there's a lot of people who feel the same way and share Scentsi's core values of simplicity, authenticity, and generosity. Our beautiful campus in Meridian, Idaho welcomes employees, consultants, and the community year-round.
That's why we've grown from selling just warmers and wax to selling a complete line of products, so you can fill your life with fragrance no matter where your day takes you.
Whether it's fun partnerships with beloved brands, innovative, high-performing cleaning products, laundry care that smells as good as it works, or personal care products to create your signature scent, Scentsy products are made to share.
Maybe that's why our culture has always felt like family. We call it Scentsy Spirit. It's a feeling of love, acceptance, generosity, and community that we share freely with everyone we meet. And we welcome you to experience it yourself. Like it? Buy the product. Love it? Host a get-together with your friends. Want more? Start your own Scentsy business. You can earn amazing trips around the world and rewards. You can work your business whenever and wherever you want, giving you more time for the things and people that matter most. Ask your Scentsy consultant for more info.
And as always, Scentsy is your fragrance destination. They do a lot for us, being sponsors of the league. Running, also sponsoring the 48 of Ryan Decker's machine there, as you saw on the side-by-side action as we get about to the halfway point in this race. And Ryan Decker now leading a few laps ahead of Dean Wilkinson and the 88 of Gabe Butler. Bud Steele there in that Ford Mustang, and Everett Lane in the top 5 at the moment. And this is your top 8 that are up here in this lead pack. And yeah, while we're live, we still want to highlight the points battle, at least coming into tonight, just from a standpoint of how close it really truly is, and how close we are getting to. We've got one more race after tonight to decide who goes to the playoffs, and that will be, I believe it'll be a 12-car cutoff, is what we've typically done here. It'll be 12 or 16, but it should be 12. And yeah, gearing up for that, and that points battle. For some reason, Sim Racer. Okay, here we go. It was loading on me for a second, but I think we got it now. We can bring it up for you guys. But yeah, Brandon, I mean, you follow it more on Sundays, but I mean, it is kind of crazy how tight that points battle really is between so many drivers here.
Yeah, it really is. I believe from about 5th to 15th, we got 10 drivers within 10 points of each other. So it really makes such of a difference. And 2 weeks ago, like we brought up earlier, the Groover was 3rd in points, and he unfortunately missed the race, and now he's right down there in that bubble. So that just puts drivers in spots where you gotta be aggressive nonstop, and that's what we love it in the booth. Maybe drivers around him don't love it, but that's how good of a racing we get here, that just missing one race can have that big of an adjustment on your season. As we got our first caution. Boom.
We've got a yellow on the speedway, and I'm not entirely sure. Okay, maybe the 101 of Josh Heiba. Oh, the 21 of Jacob Lee. Heavy damage on that machine. We are going to go see if we can understand where this started.
Yeah, I believe this is that second group trying to... Ooh,
Oh,
there
yeah.
we go, right up front.
Yeah, the
This
101s.
was that second group.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying this was that second group that was really having to push to get back up there. They had unfortunately lost the pack, and this sometimes can be the circumstances of just trying to get back to that front pack.
Yeah, there's a few torn up race cars there. The 21 going for a wild ride. The 51, 13, 28, 03, 101 all involved. We'll get another quick look, and we'll rewind it just a bit here, see if we can see more of where this kind of started. And obviously, it's coming down the backstretch, and we will get with the 101. Better camera angle and see if we can understand. So he's up there with the 52 and coming down the back straightaway, and we'll see what happens as we get into turn 3 here. A little bit of a shove, looks like
Yeah,
from the 52, and the 83's kind of coming up, and there's just not space for both those cars to be there together, and unfortunately the 101 goes around off the nose of the 83. Not too much damage for him. The 2 gets a little damage here, and we'll zoom it back out. This is where kind of the chaos starts to happen. But yeah, you can see there's a lot of cars that are really wrecked there. The 21 probably got the worst of it, getting hit from behind and then slide into someone. Just, I mean, nowhere he could go. 51 also involved there. It doesn't look too bad. The 28 got a little bit of nose damage for both those guys, but yeah, we'll jump back live here, and looks like most of our drivers have already completed their pit stops here. So Everett Lane is going to be our race leader after coming down on lap 53 for fuel only, as he only took about 9.5 seconds in the pit stall. And we got a quick opportunity here for our first caution. We'll do another commercial break for you here. And this time we are going to hear from our wonderful sponsor, Ranger Creative Concepts.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can't change.
Perfect timing as the pace truck dives onto pit road, and Everett Lane will be the control car for the first restart of the night. Green flag back out on the speedway.
yeah, we're back green 24, bringing them in here to turn 1, and just a quick thing here for you, Boom. Can we see, did the 88, did he come in that last pit stop, did he come in and put 4 tires on? Does it look like, according to his time?
Yes.
I don't know if you still have access to that. And I was going to wonder if he decided to come back and say, hey, these guys all got it. It's time for me to come get them too.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Everett Lane only took fuel or potentially right side tires, but probably just fuel. Dude Conrad did as well, as same as Eric Laurie. Everybody else at least 14 seconds or more. So 4 tires, potentially some damage repair for a few guys. Probably a couple guys getting fast repairs here, as things are just going to get a little dicier as we get over the halfway point. Lap number 57, and into the wall goes the 6. Around goes one of the Groover brothers. That's Seth, and that is going to be our second caution of the night.
Ooh, yeah, things were definitely starting to pick up, like you said, Boom. Starting to see some guys make some moves. This one just unfortunate here for everybody involved.
Yeah, trying to bring up a replay. I think we got the wrong spot. We'll get this one here instead, and that should be, yep, okay, chaos is already happening, so we're going to do a little rewindy and see if we can understand where that happened. But yeah, they were almost 3 wide coming through 1 and 2 here, and you see that with the 32 and the 6 here, so we'll watch down the back straightaway. It looks like they're trying to go 3 wide. The 32 and the 6 just kind of coming together a little bit there. Actually, no, they're not together. There they are now. And the 8 immediately gets into the back of the 32. The 54 is involved, but I think is going to be okay. I think actually the 32 is going to be in decent shape there. He's got a little like right front nose damage, but that's not terrible. Trying to look for, yeah, dude, Conrad's got some nose damage for him, so that's going to probably be a little bit worse. But yeah, not kind of a quiet yellow for, I mean, how many cars were in, around. Could have been a lot worse there. And we'll look at Patrick Groover here. Yeah, Patrick Groover mostly unscathed there, and the 6 of Bud Steele got a little bit of front nose damage, but should be able to take a fast repair and be okay. So we'll jump back live here, and it looks like most of the top 12 are going to be staying out here. Todd Merkel, Dale Rapp, Gabe Butler, Dean Wilkinson, Everett Lane. Actually, I take it back. Todd Merkel and Dale Rapp were the only 2 that stayed out on this caution. Gabe Butler and everyone else behind came down pit road for at least a splash of fuel. Looks like mostly splash of fuel. Ryan Decker got tires. Patrick Groover got tires, and then a couple other stragglers on pit road that you see at the bottom there, still trying to repair some damage. So that gives us another opportunity for another commercial break. And this time we are going to hear from our wonderful SimCam sponsor, Whiplash SimCams, and we will be right back. So Dale Rapp and Todd Merkel are going to stay out on this pit cycle. They are going to inherit the front row here, as we see them behind the iRacing Pace truck. Everybody else from Gabe Butler on back came down for splash of fuel, maybe some tires, some fast repairs potentially for some of the cars involved in incidents, but we do see 30, 40, 50 seconds in a pit stall for a lot of other drivers, so damage repair is what would cause that. As we get ready to go green, it'll be lap 60 coming to 61, second restart of the night. Not the first time that Todd Merkel's been on the front row for one of these. As we get back up through the gearbox, they go back up to speed here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah, very good start there by the 2. Gets himself a nice good jump there, and what the 2 and the 52 really need to do, and this is make this restart racy. You got it. We're right on the bubbles.
The 52 goes around.
Go around. Oh, got some other guys. The 54. Cautions, breed cautions, as the 54 is flipping.
Yeah, I think the 48 checked up enough, but still some nose damage for him. And yeah, we could almost go back to the green flag replay and watch it from there, because that was pretty quick. So we'll see. Maybe it was a little too far back. We'll play this for a second here, and then we'll go to slow motion here.
Yeah, it looked like a very slow start there by the 52. We've seen the 55 get into him a little bit, maybe a little bit. Didn't come down and get those tires like the other guys did, so it's going to be a little bit slower. Tires are going to spin a little bit more. As we can see, the 55's really got a good run here. And I think what we're going to run into is the 52 sees a hole just for a second.
Yeah, it tries to come down, and then the 24 is there. Yeah, maybe started out as a little bit of net code, but 52 thought he was clear potentially, and obviously that's going to be a big moment for the guys behind him. So Dale Rapp goes for a ride. Oh, wow, look at the 8, just barely make it through. The 411, that was tight. And then obviously this is where the 54 gets sent up the track, and there's not much that he can do about that. The 87 gets hit into the outside wall. The 03, what a move to avoid that damage there. But yeah, I think that's going to be just the 54 and the 52, really. That's honestly impressive compared to what could have been much worse.
Yeah, we've seen it on the last two cautions. Um, when what I've learned from this, and I could be wrong, is that you really can't be indecisive. If you're gonna make that move, you gotta take it. The runs just come too fast and too quick to hesitate. So unfortunate there for them guys involved, and head to another commercial.
Yeah, this time we're going to hear from 4draceware.com, and we'll be right back.
Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40raceware.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Alrighty, welcome back from that commercial brought to you by SimCams. Great view is 64 out of 100 are done. We got the 88 and the 55 going to bring us back to green, and I think we're going to see maybe a little bit more of a clean start here. Boom, with these guys up front now. The tires are a little bit more warmed up, and got two very good veterans out here on the front row. The one I'm going to keep my eye on, though, is that 071. He's been chugging along all year, and it's about time, I think, to see that 071 in victory lane.
All right, I like it. Calling the shot there. See what he can do. Obviously, he's got quite a bit of veteran talent all the way around him right now. Gabe Butler's going to be starting in P1 for this restart here. Dean Wilkinson to his outside, Bud Steele, obviously Eric Lohr there in fourth. Dude Conrad, your top 5. Todd Merkel having a good night, still in the top 10 there. Jacob Lee, good rebound after being involved in the wreck 2 cautions ago, as well as Joshua Highbaugh. Mike Allen and Gary Huffins are all in the top 10 here as we get ready to go back green, Brandon.
Yeah, 88. Definitely cannot spin the tires here. We've seen what spinning the tires can do on restarts. Cause a little checkup here. See how everybody got a nice, good little spacing there. That was some good moves. As the 071 definitely spun some tires there. As we've seen the two of Todd Merkel really get into the back of him, get him pushing, kept him straight. But maybe going to give the 55 a chance to get down and get out front.
55 will take over the lead here with the 88 just ahead of him. Bud Steele, Dude Conrad, Jacob Lee. And sorting out a couple cars looking like coming down pit road potentially here.
Yeah, I think it's as crazy as it sounds. If you go over that white line just a little bit right there with your right side tires under caution or green, iRacing will penalize you. So under caution with these guys coming down, that's what I would assume. Or maybe they're just topping off immediately, so it's a really, really quick pit stop. Boom.
Dean Wilkinson. So the 83 of Jack Walls and the 101 of Josh Highbaugh coming in, and it looks like just rolling through pit road. So pass-through penalty, it looks like, for both of those guys, unfortunately, or a splash of fuel, as you mentioned there, Brandon. But they are going to be, they're going to be in the clear for the rest of the race. But I think everybody else is going to be pushing it on fuel. Restart pitting on lap 62, and we saw everyone go about 34, 35 laps at the beginning. I feel like that's going to be tough to fuel save this the rest of the way.
Yeah, and that's what made me think maybe those guys came in and topped off immediately. That's a really, really short pit stop. But not only that, like, they're going to be the two cars, and we've seen how good two cars can be and how fast and how much time they can make up. So if this race does stay green and these guys do have to come make a pit stop, that's not going to be really that bad for Jack Walls and those guys, because the two cars we've seen earlier gained a lot of time on the front pack due to the double file. So if they can make up all that time right now, maybe 3 or 4 seconds, that gives them a buffer. So it's going to be a very, very interesting race. And Mrs. Groover getting in the chat, 4 cautions and 5 laps. Hey, that means we're racing, Mama Groover. That means we're racing. And I love some good racing.
Indeed, yeah, it's definitely been eventful so far. Got through a whole green flag pit cycle, and then it's just kind of been a little bit of calamity ever since. But we are 2 wide, 5 rows deep. About 10 cars there in the 2 wide action. A couple cars in the middle there. Just strung out single file, just waiting for whatever to happen. But Gabe Butler continues to lead here. He's spent most of his night up in the front. So has Everett Lane, who's now promoting himself to the leader of that outside lane. Dean Wilkinson there just behind the 88. Bud Steele also in the inside lane. And then you've got the 13 of Allen pushing the 24, and then the 32 of Seth Groover pushing him. And they are almost to the 3/4 mark of this race, extended to 100 laps. Typically we'd run 90 in the past, so 10 extra laps. Obviously was going to originally be a 2-stop race for fuel, and right now it's potentially fuel save mode for these final 30 laps or so.
Yeah, and that's what those guys in the back, Jack and those guys, wanted to see. They wanted to see these guys start to get racy up here and keep it too wide, as we see. Oh, the 13 is going to go around. Caution flag. Bad break for the 83 and those guys that came in and made that pit stop. Oof, that's not what they wanted to see.
Yeah, that's going to be tough for them, but I think they should be able to wave around, which helps. But obviously they'd be the tail end of the field, and we're going to get to a replay here. See if we can see where that happened. And yeah, that looks like netcode. Definitely started out as netcode between the 13 and the 32, but just going obviously tight racing, and sometimes when you do have tight racing in the netcode, you know, sometimes the netcode giveth, sometimes it taketh, and in this case it taketh, and looks like a little bit of nose damage to the 32. The 52 checked up really well without locking up and was able to not run into the back of that 32 there. So see if we can get one more kind of quick view at it here. But yeah, just, you know, tight racing. You definitely saw the gap between the two cars to start, which means it's definitely a netcode thing. And man, look at that 52. Look at that wreck avoidance from him. That was, I mean, it's been, honestly, to me, I think the story of the night, obviously, you know, the yellows are unfortunate to have, but I think the story of the night, Brandon, is how many of these accidents have not involved additional cars, because we could have junked the whole field by now without some of this heads-up driving after contact is made.
Yeah, definitely some netcode there. We've seen the 13 start to come around without, what was that, the 32 or the 54, not without him even touching him. And then you really start to see the netcode with the damage model when he starts to go around him. That's when the damage starts to hit. So unfortunate here, but gives us another time to get a wonderful commercial in and show off our sponsors.
Yep, we're going back to our fragrance destination, Scentsy, and we'll be back with the broadcast in just a minute.
At Scentsy, we love fragrance, how it makes us feel, how it connects us to our deepest memories, how sharing those memories connects us with each other.
And as it turns out, there's a lot of people who feel the same way and share Scentsy's core values of simplicity, authenticity, and generosity. Our beautiful campus in Meridian, Idaho welcomes employees, consultants, and the community year-round.
That's why we've grown from selling just warmers and wax to selling a complete line of products, so you can fill your life with fragrance no matter where your day takes you.
Whether it's fun partnerships with beloved brands, innovative, high-performing cleaning products, laundry care that smells as good as it works, or personal care products to create your signature scent, Scentsy products are made to share.
Maybe that's why our culture has always felt like family. We call it Scentsy Spirit. It's a feeling of love, acceptance, generosity, and community that we share freely with everyone we meet. And we welcome you to experience it yourself. Like it? Buy the product. Love it? Host a get-together with your friends. Want more? Start your own Scentsy business. You can earn amazing trips around the world and rewards. You can work your business whenever and wherever you want, giving you more time for the things and people that matter most. Ask your Scentsy consultant for more info.
Alrighty, back here from commercial. Appreciate Scentsy coming on board, helping us out here, helping the wheels keep turning on this recording race cars. So we can't thank you guys enough. Is the 6 of Bud Steele couldn't make it last week due to being on vacation, had his feet in the sand. Now he's got his feet in the cockpit, bringing us back to green as we got 25 laps to go here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Very, very good start there by Bud Steele. Is 24 on that outside, didn't get the start he wanted. But boom, my favorite thing about these race cars is the sound of them. Let's crank it up and go whiplash them cans. To drive these cars, but always fun to watch them do battle out on the racetrack as Gabe Butler is now taking command of the inside lane. Everett Lane pushing him at the moment, the 2 and the 32. Todd Merkel and Seth Gruber are lined up in the outside lane, and we are going to be 20 laps to go as we cross the stripe next time by. Yeah, business is picking up. And so far this season, we've seen when business picks up, that 32 finds his way to the front. Conquered a couple wins so far this season. He's holding on to the points lead right now. Gonna be very, very interesting to see what these guys do. Maybe keep that 32 back there, not to let him get another win and build that points lead. And the 2 of Tom Merkel really lean that outside card.
Yeah, and obviously we were going to mention it again, but got distracted. But yeah, Seth Gruber leading the points there with 162. Kevin Hash, 155. Ryan Decker, 152. And there are, like you said, Brandon, from 5th to 15th, there are about 10 guys that are within about 20 points. And that battle for those final spots in the playoffs are going to be absolutely chaotic heading into next Sunday's activities at Talladega Super Speedway.
Yeah, and I'm not thinking about Talladega. I'm thinking about right now. I'm thinking about that Frank Ranger Customs trophy that you get at the end of the season, because Ryan Decker, that you mentioned, sitting third in points, he right now is not in the race. He's sitting 22nd. That means for some people, there's a lot of points sitting ahead of him not being here. So somebody maybe going to want to conquer on that move.
Yeah, definitely take advantage of those nights where you can. And Seth Gruber obviously leading the points and having a very solid night for himself so far, up in the 4th position at the moment. Still the same lineup that you've seen pretty much since the restart here. Todd Merkel now leading that lap from the outside. Gabe Butler, Seth Gruber, Everett Lane, Bud Steele, your top 5. Jacob Lee, good recovery again from that earlier incident. And Dude Conrad, as well as Dale Rapp, Kenan Iroquois and Jim Brooks all in the top 10. But Dale Rapp has had an eventful night, involved in a couple yellows, but most importantly, some of his wreck avoidance has probably been, some of the moments of the race. And if he is able to capitalize on a good solid finish, and looking at in the top 10 right now, definitely attribute to what he did in avoiding some of those other incidents that he was not involved in. But good wreck avoidance. Sometimes, from this whole field, we've definitely seen some yellows tonight, but it could have been a lot worse. And it's definitely been cool to see some of that great driving on display.
Yeah, and I think it was just unfortunate for the 52 in that point. He maybe didn't see the guys coming, or he was like, man, this is my way to stay out, and didn't think maybe the tires were going to make that big of a difference. But when everybody behind you goes and you're the only one out there, it's just some things like that are going to happen. And but way to brush it off and say, hey, I'm going to get right back on the pedal and get right back up there and contend. So shout out to the 52.
Yeah, absolutely. Good solid night for him tonight. Gabe Butler still status quo at the front here. We've seen the 32 kind of peak, like he wants to go 3 wide. Hasn't done it yet, but not sure if he's tipping his hand a little bit, or he's just trying to manage some of that tire wear later into the run. I think most of these guys are on old tires. Actually, Seth Gruber's last pit stop was about 50 seconds, which means he's repairing damage. So he's still battling with some of those issues potentially as well. But for the most part, that McDonald's Chevrolet looks fairly clean, and we're going to come down. It'll be 13 to go at the line. Gabe Butler continues to lead, and who is going to make the move? Where's it going to come from? And is that third lane going to form? Are kind of the biggest questions that I think we have remaining on our night here, Brandon.
Yeah, the last time we were here at Atlanta, we had 3 cautions with less than 5 laps to go. It really starts to pick up the later we go, and the person that capitalized the last time we were here is our leader, the 88. Gabe picked up the win the last time we were here in these cars, so he's got his teammate behind him. If you're the 2 or the 32, how do you beat these guys? You got 2 teammates on the bottom, and they're going to stick together, and the 24 is not going to hop out to pass him unless he has an opportunity to win. And with the 2 and the 32 on the outside, how do you really form up to beat these guys?
Yeah, the inside lane is definitely more organized right now. If that 52 were able to get up there a little bit more and help, that would propel that outer line a little more forward. The 19's up there as well. There's just not a ton of organization, but also, find your opportunities. There's almost a car width hole there at times between, the 88 and the 24, and then between the 24 and the 6. See if you can get down in front of Bud Steele here if you're in the 32 and get to the bottom lane and try to move that forward, because obviously the top is not quite working at the moment here, as they're kind of just stalled out, and 88's going to go a little wide there, but they're just kind of stalled out at Everett Lane, and they can't get too much further forward. But looks like that bottom lane is actually disconnected quite a bit here, so who knows, this outside line might be able to make some progress here this lap.
Yeah, and what these guys really got to keep their focus on is them temperatures. We haven't talked about it all tonight. Fortunate to not have anybody blow up, but we haven't really been in a situation where guys had to push and really get on the guy in front of them and start pushing them along to gain position. So also make sure you keep that in the back of your mind. You got to keep them temps down as we got 10 to go.
Inside 10-9 at the line this time. Gabe Butler continuing from that inside lane there. Everett Lane is helping him out, so is Bud Steele. as the 2 is going to get past 3 wide here. The 32 is coming high on the outside. I'm going to try and get up into the wall just a little bit. The 19 gets in the wall a lot, and so does the 411 further on back, but they settle out to 2 wide for now. 8 to go at the line. Does anybody have anything? This outside lane keeps stalling out, unable to make more progress, and the 32's trying to push the issue again, trying to go 3 wide and see if he can make the pass on the 2 of Todd Merkel.
Yeah, definitely. As you noted, the outside lane's not going anywhere, so you really got to be the guy leading it if you're going to want to make a move here at the end, because it's going to take everything from the guy behind you pushing. So interesting move there by the 32. He knows how to get the job done and get some wins, so it's going to be interesting as he's falling back here. Boom.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the help that he needs, but for being by himself all the way up there, he's showing that he can actually do quite a bit. And I think he's actually going to make this pass potentially happen here now that it's just the 2 and the 32. Nobody has help. The 52 has now come down to the inside lane. And the 32 gets loose and into the outside wall as he was just about clear and almost had help from the 55. And he's going to get slow on the back straightaway and see if we can sort this out here. The 2's going to get down to the inside lane just ahead of the 19. And they're going to have to mount a charge once again in the outside lane as Dean Wilkinson has joined the party up there, at least through 3 and 4, tucks back down on the front straightaway, and Gabe Butler continues to lead us around. 6 laps to go.
Yeah, that really reminded me of the Earnhardt-Bodine rivalry right there. 2 guys that's just racing each other hard. In the meantime, they're losing a ton of time, and I think the 2 end up dropping back to the 8th spot there, and the 32 out of contention. Just guys really pushing hard, wanting to get the win here. Now the 6 has to organize some things.
Yeah, that broke up the entire outside line, so it's the top 5, top 8 even, all the way single file on the inside lane to 88, 24, 6, 8, 21. Looking for a solid top 5 tonight. Dean Wilkinson was showing that he wanted to go to the top. Maybe as the 32 and the 28 get there, he may be the first one to make that move to cover the 32 and try to get moving forward, because he is going to have to settle for 6th or worse if he can't get around some of those cars ahead of him.
Yeah, boom. I think what it was the 32 realized the outside line, the arrow is really bad up there. Needed to knock a little bit of the fender in, get a little bit more better arrow because he's got that outside line chugging with the 28 behind him. These guys are going to get up there in time to give these leaders a run for their money.
Ooh, the 52 gets in the back of the 55 and spins him around, but the 55 keeps it straight. A couple cars into the outside wall, and we stay green. A couple cars all the way down to the apron. The 52 and the 32 racing really hard there. As, the 28's now up into the wall, but we stay green flag on the speedway. That's going to break up a lot of this pack further on back. And green flag still out. 4 laps to go. We'll settle back into our leaders. Gabe Butler, currently uncontested. Everett Lane working with him as a teammate tonight. The 6 of Bud Steele is there. The 8 is a teammate to the 88 and the 24. And then you've got Jacob Lee back there in 5th. Who's going to go with who? Is it going to be the Team Bootnacker Esports drivers versus everybody else? Is anybody going to get on a line, or is everybody content to ride here in this top 5?
Man, if Bud missed last week, you almost assume that Bud's got to step out of line and go for the win. Yeah, 3rd is good, but man, you really want that win. As you see the 32, he's back making another run. I don't know what he's got under the hood of that race car, but he ain't giving up. He's ready to make another run on the outside. Boom.
Yeah, he's got no help at the moment, but he's starting to get there. He's at least alongside the 21 of Jacob Lee. Not sure if that means that these guys are saving any fuel, but the 32 is working really hard. Probably worked harder than anybody else has, I think, all night long, as we're going to get the white flag this time by. Leaders will race all the way back around to finish this race under green flag.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tight move as we see some 3 wide racings. Gonna go take it. Ooh, the 21 on outside the wall. Gabe is loving this. He's loving seeing those guys racing back there. But I think these guys have understood, hey, let's just stay single file and let's come away with a good finish here, as it doesn't look like anybody's maybe gonna move out of line here. Boom.
No one will move out of line there. A couple guys down on the apron, but it's going to be the 88, the 24, and the 6 coming home in your podium placings uncontested for quite a few laps there at the end.
Yeah, boom. I tell you what, we had some racing there at the end, and I hope what we seen was some good hard racing, and I hope this breeds some rivals out of this. I hope we get some rivals out of this. It was some good hard racing, but I hope we get some rivals.
Yeah, we definitely had some spirited battles there towards the end, but yeah, I mean, no one really was. Obviously, I don't blame Bud Steele for not wanting to jump out of line because he knows that the 8 behind him is probably going to go with the 88 and the 24, and he's just going to get shuffled out. So, and nobody else behind. Obviously, the 21 and the 32 are trying to figure out who was going to be the one to lead that outside line, and in their struggles, obviously Jacob gets in the wall just a little bit, and no harm, no foul. They do come home 6th and 7th, but unable to get any higher up the running order. And before we get anywhere else, we'll bring up the unofficial results for you here as we see Gabe Butler coming home. Another win here at Atlanta Motor Speedway this season. Everett Lane in the 24 had a really solid night, all night up in the top 5, top 3 for quite a bit of it. Bud Steele running really well as well. Dude Conrad comes home in the 4th position after starting 6th. Dale Rapp, really great wreck avoidance from him tonight, and as well as Jacob Lee, a really great recovery for him. Obviously, a little bit of contact there towards the end as they're trying to figure out who's going to lead that outside lane, but him and Seth Groover, as we mentioned, come home 6th and 7th. Solid nights for both of those guys. Todd Merkel falls a couple spots to 8th position, but still a solid top 10 for him. Joshua Highbaugh involved in at least one yellow in that 101, comes home with a top 10 for himself, and most of these cars getting pretty clean to the end. You see all the way through 17th or so, within about 10 seconds of the leader. So good to see some good clean battles towards the end, especially on the last lap. And Patrick Groover there in the 54, he's going to come home your last car in the top 10. Gary Huffins, hopefully that's how you pronounce it. I apologize if not. And he's going to come home first car outside of the top 10. Jim Brooks is just behind him for Roswell Motorsports. Nick Wing, teammate to Jim, there in 13th. Eric Laurie of Team Bootnaka is going to be there in 14th. And then TW Motorsports' own Dean Wilkinson in 15th. We'll go back to Tom Dixon in the 411. He's 16th. Kevin Hash and Ray Rittenauer are going to be just behind him there, all the way back to 18th in the results. And we'll pull up the last few results here. Jack Wall is going to be the last car finishing on the lead lap, and then everyone else involved in incidents pretty much for the rest of the night. So that's Mike Allen, Robert Amaral, Ryan Decker, James Moen, and Anthony Lane all having to retire early here tonight, unfortunately. So we are about ready to, I think, bring up some drivers here. What do you think, Brandon? Talk to some people and hear how their races went.
Yeah, I said we go ahead and grab our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Bud Steele. See if we can get old Bud in here to the booth. Had himself a nice vacation. Now he picks himself up a 3rd place finish. Bud, how was it? Maybe. But you got a copy? Might be having some little technical difficulties here. Try to see if we can get a copy here. Well, boom. I think might have to go ahead and try maybe our 2nd place finisher here. Maybe come on back to Bud.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea. See if we can bring Everett Lane up now. Bring him up here into the booth. All right, Everett, you got a copy. Uh-oh.
Copy.
Oh, there we go. Okay, all right. We couldn't get a hold of Bud. We'll try to get a hold of him in a minute here. But, yeah, so, I mean, we highlighted it, but you spent most of that race really up in the top 3, top 5. Really solid run all night long. And obviously, pretty quiet run pretty much to the end there. But enough of me talking about it. What did it look like from your vantage point behind the wheel?
Yeah, it's a pretty good race tonight. It's 100 laps went by pretty fast. Tires were key tonight. That last caution kind of helped all of us because we were a little shy on some fuel there to finish. That helped me and Gabe a lot. So we got some good rubber on the vehicles and went out there and put them up there in the front.
Yeah, Everett, good run by you guys up there. And we talked about tires all night. How did the tires come into play tonight, or how was that?
Oh, definitely. This track eats up tires for some reason. You would think with a super speedway and new asphalt, it wouldn't eat up the tires as much as it does, but this car seems to wear out that front right. So you really got to be easy on the throttle on entry to these corners and a little heavy on exit. But you really got to take care of the front right here at this track.
Yeah, definitely seems like tire wear makes a difference. And we saw a little bit of a different strategy from a few. I know Gabe Butler took, I think, either two tires or no tires on the green flag pit cycle, and from which everyone else taken four tires. But it seems like that helps a lot, but isn't, I don't know, I guess maybe you could explain for the viewers at home how much of a difference that does make as the tire wear gets, especially at this track compared to our other super speedway races, how much that has an impact on the race.
Yeah, you can see the one time where I went back into the pits there. I think it's mid race or somewhere there, and I went all the way to the back, and I had a little damage. Got a little nose damage from an incident, and went all the way to the back and went in, got four tires, and filled it up, and I was able to drive all the way back up to the front with those four fresh tires. The very first green flag pit we had, I was really sketchy on taking one right side, and I said, "Nah, I'm going to take all four to make it easier to drive." Yeah, you got to have four tires out here. I'm not that good here to race on just outside tires, so anytime you can get four, you definitely want to take four.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, definitely appreciate you explaining that for our viewers here at home. And well, I think one left thing left to do is roll out that red carpet for you and give you opportunities for any thanks or shout outs for that second place finish there tonight, Everett.
Well, I want to throw that second place finish out there to my buddy Al Cena. We lost him last week. It's hard, losing good friends, and I want to dedicate that second place finish to him. Really super guy out here in iRacing. We're all going to miss this guy. There's a lot of people out there that really liked racing with Al, and he loved the super speedways. So I want to throw that out to my buddy Al Cena. The boot knockers definitely. Gabe got a good win there. I think four of us finished in the top five, so that was a pretty good run for the boot knockers. So uh, that's all I got to say. Thank you very much
Yeah,
for what you guys do up there in the booth for over here at Area 51.
yeah, absolutely, Everett. And really sorry. Hope may Al rest in peace. Sorry to hear for your loss, and very special to get to attribute that second place to him tonight. So congratulations, and we'll talk to you again soon, buddy.
All righty. Thank you very much.
Alrighty, thank Brandon. Sounds like we got a copy potentially now from the six of Bud Steele. And solid night for you tonight, Bud. Pretty much in the top five, top 10 all race long. Obviously, always supporting the navy blue Ford Mustang colors. A good run for you tonight. And why don't you take us through how you got to that third place finish?
Well, I was hoping just to help Ryan tonight, since he was up there in the points. I've had just the most terrible season I've ever had in these things, but I was going to help the teammates out, and Ryan got a penalty. I think Jack got a real ugly penalty, and I think Jim did too. So uh, just tried to make the good pit stops and stay up front. Um, Ended up being a boot knocker sandwich again there at the end. I was trying to talk dude into helping me out there at the end, but he had other plans. But that's good race there at the end, nice and clean, and uh, couldn't really try anything but to just stay where I was. And tires were terrible there at the end. It was the same for everybody. So good little run there on those tires, though.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah,
Obviously, like you said there in the boot knocker sandwich. I'll let you answer the question, Brandon. Sorry, a second, but I noticed. It didn't seem like you'd want to pull out a line, knowing that if you did, the eight probably wouldn't go with you with some of his friends in front of you there. But still seemed like. I mean, obviously at that point, I'm assuming the best method is just to just ride with it, and obviously it earned you a third place, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, I didn't know if I should try to back up there at the end and try to draft up and get a run, but the way that was like one too many yellows for this old guy's bladder tonight. So that's why I'm a little late into the broadcast booth here. So, but overall, good race for me. My teammates, not so much.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna ask, but we talk about how good you guys normally are, at pit road and executing and when you come to Atlanta, you talked about teammates getting penalties. How much more difficult is it now with having to enter off of turn 3?
Uh, uh, I mean, I prefer coming off the 4 just because I usually could pick up, some spots coming in, but uh, coming in off of 3, the way it is, I mean, once you know, what kind of speed you can carry through there, you just have to, wait until, you're a couple hundred feet from the pit cone there and slow it down.
Yeah, definitely a solid night for you there, bud. Obviously, I think now we can give you that red carpet rollout, give you an opportunity for any thanks or shoutouts for that third place finish here tonight.
Well, thank you all at Green White Checker TV. You all do a really great broadcast. Really a lot of fun to go back and watch. Uh, Thanks to my teammates. They're there for moral support at the end there. So appreciate them always. And congrats to Gabe. And I want to just you mentioned, I'm sure ever did, passing of Alcina. That
Yeah.
was quite a shock when I heard that. Raced with Al off and on for quite a while, and I think I've helped him win, and he's helped me win, and always, just the best kind of guy you want around you. So yeah, God bless Alcina.
Yeah, definitely. Everett mentioned that as well, and obviously may he rest in peace. Sorry to hear about that loss for you guys, but definitely, obviously Everett also dedicated his second place to him as well. So glad to see you guys running strong in his honor after his passing. But thank you, bud. Congratulations on a solid night, and hope to talk to you again very soon, buddy.
Right. Thank y'all very much.
Alrighty, we got one more interview, and that is probably someone who's no stranger to interviews here in the broadcast booth, but it is the 88 of Gabe Butler, and let's hear it. How did it go from your vantage point?
I thought it went great. I won.
Hey, there you go. Easy interview over. All right, thanks. Shoutouts. What you
Yeah.
got? No.
Have a nice night.
Yeah. Yeah, no, take us through. Obviously, looked like you guys had pretty solid strategy. I think you got ahead of pretty much everybody on that green flag pit stop, the really the only cycle that we had there. But I mean, kind of controlled the race. Kind of a classic boot knocker finish. Teammate behind you, a couple teammates back and forth with dude, and yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, here tires are huge, man. I mean, I took 2 on that green flag pit stop, and I think Dean and Ryan quite possibly took. I think they might have taken 4, and they caught me and passed me pretty easy. But I was able to stay with them once they got in front of me, which wasn't a bad thing. I was able to save more tire, and then with the cycle of cautions, it was just a matter of getting fuel and topping off, making sure we had enough to the end. And I mistakenly took 4 on one of those caution stops, but it helped. It helped me in the end. There, I was able to stay out front with Everett's help pretty handily. I didn't see anybody. I know Todd tried really hard there for quite a number of laps, and I felt like he burned his stuff up on the high side there. I figured he'd eventually fade. I was just telling Everett, we'll just take it easy, lift, and I'll try and speed match Todd. and I didn't hear him lift that much. And then when he did start lifting, I would lift with him. So, but I think he just kind of burned his stuff up a little bit too quick there.
No, great point there, Gabe. And man, we're gonna almost have to start charging your rent to be up here. No, as you're talking, as the tires start to wear down, do do you like that more of Atlanta type racing? We see you win in different types, but as this starts to become more of a strategy and you just can't hammer it to the floor, is that the racing you like to see, or would you prefer the more open scene of the drafting?
Well, I like both. I don't really have a preference for either one, but I mean, winning this type of race makes you feel like you really did something well as far as managing the car, managing the track, managing your tires, the whole thing. Whereas, straight up super speedway, it's that's way more intense, I think. You're going 100% the whole time, inches apart. Where here, you kind of have to manage your car. So, like I said, I don't really have a preference, but winning a race here where you have to save the car and save the tires, it makes you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've also been able to do that twice now. So every time we've come here in this series this season, it's been you top of the podium or top of the pylon there. So definitely seems like you kind of have a little bit of that tire wear and that tire strategy figured out there.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the first couple of laps, if you have to run hard, fine, go. But as soon as you can start saving tire, you need to start doing it because yeah, a couple of guys might get around you, and that's fine. But if you can continue to save, you'll get them in the long run, which um, it's a fun challenge. I will say that it's a fun challenge, and I've learned a lot from the likes of Kevin and Seabass and those types of guys and Dude and all them guys as far as saving tires and stuff. So it's good to put that knowledge to good use.
Absolutely. Well, you've got the checkered flag on the rear bumper there and checkered flag in the air for you here tonight, Gabe. We'll roll out that red carpet now and give you a chance for any thanks or shout outs you'd like to give.
A big shout out to the Boot Knocker boys that we were running with tonight. We had a good group in there tonight, and it was fun. And Kevin was in there visiting us and kind of telling us what was going on in the race and so forth. And of course, yourself, Boomer, and Brandon up in the booth there at Green White Checker TV. It'll be a fun one to go back and look at I think. Might have been a bit boring for you guys. I don't know. But anyway, we'll see. And of course, Area 51 and all the admins for putting this league on. And it's a lot of work, like I say, every week. There's a lot of background stuff that goes on, and the admins are really appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. We know how much stuff goes on behind the scenes, and there's a lot of stuff we talked about in the first portion when we got through the green flag pit cycle and everything, where it was pretty quiet. But there's some fun in the middle there, and obviously you had a chance to avoid most of that and come home victorious tonight. But we'll let you get out of here. Congratulations again, Gabe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, fellas. Just one more thing,
Sure.
and I forgot to mention it the last time I was at one of my other interviews, not with you guys, but we did lose iRacer Al Cena. I don't know if Everett mentioned it or not,
Yeah,
but
Everett and Bud did, thankfully. But yeah, continue, please.
good. I used to race with him in Old Farts. That was his main league, and I think he raced a little bit here for a while in SSK. Uh, Tremendous loss for the iRacing community. He was such a nice man, Vietnam veteran. Just I would like on behalf of all of Area 51 and my other leagues that I'm in to extend my sincerest sympathies and condolences to his wife and his family and his friends. And like I said, he was a Vietnam vet and a very, very nice man on top of that, and he'll be missed greatly.
Yeah, definitely. I know I mentioned to both Everett and Bud, but hopefully may he rest in peace. And obviously you know, it's a bummer to hear about it, obviously, but I mean, obviously it means a lot for everybody in the top three, really to be racing for him tonight. And that's obviously I didn't know him personally, but I think that's somewhat of a testament to his character and obviously thinking about his family and tough loss for you guys as well. So thanks for bringing that up, and we definitely hope he rests in peace. And congratulations once again. Another victory here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for you, Gabe. And we'll let you get out of here now. But congrats, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, guys. Have a good evening. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks. You too. Alrighty. So, schedules, I think, are the last thing we'll touch on here. Obviously, we've got in this Thursday. I won't be in the booth. I'm trading Gael for the Sunday night tonight. So you'll have Mr. Brandon Briggs and Mr. Gael Brooks running the show there as the Thursday Truck Series goes to Talladega, the final race of the playoff or before the playoffs of the regular season there. And that will be kicking off this week. Next, actually, before we get to that, I think there's a race on Tuesday for the IndyCar Series. And that will be, actually I take it back, that'll be April 15th will be the next race. So that will be in 2 weeks. So we had, last week's race at Phoenix. So 1 week off, then they'll go to Kentucky on the 15th. So another week to wait for the IndyCar Series. But obviously Thursday's still running full song. Heading into Talladega, and we'll be heading into Talladega next week on Sunday nights, next Sunday on the 13th, and then so Talladega Thursday, Talladega Sunday, and both those races are setting the playoff grid for the championship for the first season of 2025. So you will not want to miss that action on Thursday night and on Sunday night this week. So lots of fun in the booth, and looking forward to how that playoff race shakes up. I guess before we go, we could give a quick points update for Sunday nights, and we do see that looks like the 32 of Seth Groover is going to keep his point lead here after a solid night for him tonight there in the top 10. And he will be at 192 points. Gabe Butler moves up 4 spots, and he will be 184 back in second place. Kevin Hash is going to have 175. Dean Wilkinson 172, and Ryan Decker drops 4 spots. He's going to go to 169, tied with Joshua Highbaugh there in 5th place. Ray Rittenauer, he's going to be 166 points there in 7th. Eric Laurie 1 back in 8th. Dude Conrad another 3 back at 162 in 9th, and Dale Rapp at 160 for the top 10. Jacob Lee, 159. Nick Wing, 158 in 12th. And I believe that's going to be your cutoff for the playoffs there. So Patrick Groover is the first car out. 10 points back, 148 in 13th. Bud Steele moves up to 141 with a solid night for him tonight after missing a week there. Tom Dixon has 139 points in 15th. And Jack Wall is in 16th with 138. A few more probably have a few opportunities further on back. Robert Amaral, Gary Huffins, William Bogart, and Michael Allen all potentially still eligible for the playoffs as we get into that final race before we kick off playoffs after next week. So, yeah, Brandon, definitely good green flag pit cycle at the beginning, some chaos in the middle, a little bit of chaos at the end, but still a solid green flag run to the finish. What's you got any final closing thoughts before we sign off here?
Nope. I just seen good hard racing, guys. No playoffs is around the corner. I just say if you felt some type of way, we got one more race to go. So it's Talladega's gonna be one you don't want to miss. So if you ain't busy next Sunday, tune back in and see how this one unfolds, because we definitely had some good racing here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Some good racing throughout the field, and Gabe Butler comes home victorious once again, and obviously thinking of Al and his family, and obviously, like I said, I think that's a testament to his character to know so many people and have everyone in the top 3 shout him out, and thinking about him and his family after his loss. But we will be here again Thursdays and Sundays, and the following Tuesday on Green White Checker TV. So for myself, Boomer Logan, for everyone here at Green White Checker TV, as well as Mr. Brandon Briggs up in the booth here tonight, we're going to say thank you. We'll sign off. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next time.